just going to show you fellas how to propagate seeds for hydroponicking like this, real easy. So, this is what I use to propagate my seeds. I find it really easy. This is rock wool. You can get this stuff pretty cheap from all your gardening places. You can do it. You could use, toilet paper, tissue paper, anything that's going to hold moisture really, if you want to get clever. But I would advise just getting yourself rock wool cubes. They're the best for hydroponic, in my opinion. You can take these, they just tear apart nice and easily. Chuck your seeds in a little hole there. Now I'll use a pen, and I would just simply press in there, drop my seed in that hole, and then using the pen, push in, and you can even click that button just to push it down that hole. I don't think everyone advises that, and you could damage your seeds like that, but I just do that to make sure I get the small seed just down into that rock wool properly. Okay, so once you put your seeds in your rock wool cubes, you're going to want to put them into a small tray like this. Just any tray that's going to hold a small amount of water. Put your rock cubes in there. Soak them, go ahead and soak them. And just keep a thin layer of water at the base of that container. And just make sure to top that up every few days until they start. If you're in a cold climate like I am at the moment, it's New Zealand here, and it's winter at the moment. So I just put them into the hot water cupboard. I'll show you that now. So once I've put my seeds into my rock wool, I'm just going to put them into these containers here, water them, and pop them into the hot water cupboard. Sitting on top of the hot water cylinder here, it doesn't get too hot. There's just some copper pipes there that let off a bit of heat because they're not insulated. So that's going to keep them nice and warm. I'll leave them sitting in there until I start to see them popping up like this one here. And then you can go ahead and chuck them under your light. If you don't have yourself a hot water cupboard that you can use like this, just try and find yourself a cheap heat pad online. That'll work well. You won't need this setup if you're in a warm enough climate. This is just for the colder climates. Also, you can go ahead and pop a lid on top of the trays if you need to keep a bit more moisture in there, and that'll get those seeds propagating in no time. So once your seeds are sprouted and you're starting to get the first leaves coming up and you think they're about ready for some sunlight, you're going to want to put these under a light indoors. So this is probably the most basic setup. I would say this is about as cheap as you want to go. This is two 18-watt fluorescent bulbs here. This unit cost me probably $20. I had the wood at home and a few screws. Knock something together. There's so many different things that you could do. All you got to do is hang a light above your plants. Anywhere from 6 to 12 inches. It all depends on the heat given off from your bulbs. So just put your hand under there. If you can feel the heat is too much, lower it. Too much, lower it. Once you got that right spot, obviously depending on how warm it is in your room, then you're good to go. And so the great thing about this, obviously you could grow 40, 50 different seedlings at once in this one tray, and I could fit 4 under that light. So I've just put some microgreens here, and I can show you guys microgreens in another video, but just a few simple things I got from the store. Some organic amaranth that I've been playing with, and I've also got some black chia seeds going, and I found they're the easiest to grow at the moment, so I've just been playing with them, and they're a great use for all that light that's coming out there. I've also got a digital display here. These are really cheap. If you get this on eBay, I mean, it's going to cost you a couple bucks, or just get it at your local gardening shop, $5 to $10. So it's just going to tell me my temperature and humidity. You don't really need this. If your conditions are good, then you're good to go. But I do a lot of growing in my bedroom, so I like to keep this in the room, and it just gives me an idea of what's going on in my room. I've got a whole bunch of things I'm playing with at the moment. I'm keeping a weekly cycle happening. You know, this is always in use. I've got it hooked up to a cheap timer, so I don't have to turn the light on and off. It's simple as that. Also, a great thing I love about the rockwool cubes, now that those are finished, I'm going to put them inside of this cup. And all I'm going to do is add some of my hydrogen clay pellets. Simple as that. A couple of those in, rockwool cube in there, a couple more around it. Those roots are going to go up, get nice and thick in that cup, and that's going to be a good spot. Get them big old roots!